Welcome back to the Anti Madden channel. We are back with another Stop This Play segment, and in the next few segments of Stop This Play, we're going to look at how to stop popular runs out of the Singleback Jumbo Pair. In this video, we're going to focus on the HB dive out of the Singleback Jumbo Pair, and the play we're going to use is the Will Buck 3 press out of the 3-4 odd. So if we just get right into it here. Now, the thing about the Singleback Jumbo Pair, a lot of opponents may run it on you online because it's used in those short yardage situations or down at the goal line. And most of the time, if you come out and you see the personnel 1-3-1 personnel call, most people won't really have something to stop this. So what I'm trying to do is give you something that you can use in a situation, because a lot of times when they run the Singleback Jumbo Pair, they're really just running a couple of plays, either the 0-1 trap or the HB dive, or sometimes even the stretch. But the HB dive is just a really good play against a lot of plays. So what we're going to do is try to stop it today. Now, in this video, the setup is actually quite simple. We're running the Will Buck 3 press out of the 3-4 odd. And you can see they've got an overloaded set, and it's very a jumbo offense, right? So what we want to do is take this guy right here who's on that blitz, and it's actually quite crucial. What you're going to do is you want to move him halfway behind that this guy right here, the defensive tackle. You want to move him so he's halfway in between, kind of in that left A gap, but not all the way over like this right behind him, just where he's halfway behind him, right? So something like that. And the reason we're moving him there is because he's going to shoot through the gap and actually blow up the play if the running back goes straight ahead. Now what you're going to do is take this other guy right here who is in this hook zone right here, and you want to move him here. We're going to be shooting through this gap right here in between the right guard and the right tackle, right? And so what we want to do is get right about here, and at the snap of the ball, you want to kind of go down and then through the gap. Now it takes a little bit of practice to get it down. But as you'll see, and everything else is that's pretty much it. Everybody else stays the same. What's going to happen is here, this guy right here, he's going to protect on the outside runner. So if your opponent tries to bounce it outside, this guy will come down here and make the tackle here, and hopefully makes that tackle. But what we want to do is basically shut down the HB dive. Now I'm just going to move everybody back and show you how easy this play is. I'm not going to actually – oh, I'm in the wrong play. Hold on. I picked the wrong play. Let me go back. Now the thing about the HB dive is that it's very easy to get yards on it, because it'll just get through most defenses. Like right here, I'm just going to run it. You see, I'm just going to bounce it right outside like that, right? So that's a 5-yard gain. That's actually a 14-yard gain. I'm not even doing anything. I don't even really run this play, but it's so easy to run. You see right there, that's the reason I picked this play, because the guy shoots the gap. Let's see. Let me move the guy out of the way just to show you. Or put him in a hook zone. Let me put him in a hook zone. And most of the time, your opponent's just looking for that 1 or 2 yards. He'll bounce it outside and actually can end up getting a huge play on you if you're in the wrong defense on this play. So you don't want to not have something to call. You look how easy it is to just get through there. So what we're going to do is we're going to set it up to where the guy's right here. You get here. You shoot through this gap. This guy's going to be blowing up the gap through the left A gap. And this guy right here is going to be protecting the outside. So let me just let the computer run it so I can show you how to set it up. And the setup is actually quite easy to get going. So anytime you see that 1-3-1 personnel, especially down around the goal line, we'll probably do some down the goal line just to show you. But let me see. Oh, let me just run it real quick. Just get down. Okay. So what we want to do is, as quickly as we can, set up, move that guy, and then just come through this gap right here. And actually, I got picked up, and you see right there, the computer ends up bouncing it outside, and the free safety actually ends up missing, right? A lot of times, that's just the computer. And right here, he actually bounces out right. And right now, I'm not actually, if you take a look at what I'm doing here, I'm actually not blowing up this gap like I need to be. There's a gap right here that I'm trying to get through right here. Because what happens is number 70 right there, he will double team 92 on my team, and then I'll be able to get through that gap. But right here, he ends up coming off the block and then picks me up right there. I'm the guy who's actually supposed to keep that cut back to the outside from happening. So let me see if I can get it right. You kind of want to go down and cut through the gap. And so that's what will happen if your opponent tries to go back to the inside. He'll run right into that linebacker there. Let me see if I can get through this gap right here. Yeah, I got through the gap that time. The computer bounced it out the other side. Oh, I went too far. And that's all you want to do. I don't know why the computer, my guy actually went the wrong way. All you want to do is just make sure you're ready to blow through the gap. You want to go down. The guy keeps picking me up. And right there we hold the run to a 1-yard gain. Now, if it sets up the right way, you will be stopping this play on short yardage. Yeah, right there. We got a block shed. He ends up stopping him. And so it just gives you a play that you can call if you know your opponent is probably going to run it on first down. And I end up missing right there. But a lot of times you will be able to hit stick if you switch on to the free safety right there. You'll be able to hit stick. But it's just the computer ends up juking really well. And right there, he completely gets through the middle of the line. Now, your opponent is not going to be running as well as the computer is running on me right now. He's not going to be able to do that, right? Because most of the time, he's just going to think he can run it straight up the middle. So what's going to really happen is he's going to run it, and you're going to stuff him every time with that middle linebacker. And if he does try to bounce it this way, that's when I finally got through the gap that time. That's when you're going to stop him from coming out the right side. So the middle is done. The outside is done. And right there, I keep getting picked up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Let me just see. Let me experiment a little bit. I think I need to step down and then come through. Yeah. So what I'm doing there is to get through this gap. You don't want this guy. I think it's the right guard. Yeah, number 70 right here. Oh, let me get on him. Damn. Okay, let me go one over. Having problems getting on this dude. All right. So number 70 right there. What you want him to do is double team block right there. And you see how I slipped through right there? Slipped right through the gap because he double teams and I get right through there. And that's what you want to do when you're running the play. Now, I think what you got to do is actually take a couple steps down, like right behind your own defensive guy, and then come through. You see right there, we end up stuffing the run right there. So I think that's kind of the adjustment you want to do. You want to step down a couple steps at the snap so he'll block, and then you want to get through the gap just like I did right there. But I end up messing the tackle because I went for the strip button. So let me try to hit stick. You want to take a couple steps down behind your guy so you can slip through. And you'll see most of the time if he runs to the left, your linebacker who's shooting through the gap will blow it up. It's just that you need to really make sure you can get through that right gap over there. That's the hardest thing about this is just getting the mechanics of getting through that gap. And right there I get through the gap. I actually went for the strip again. And that's about it. You know, you just want to make sure you can get through this gap. And the thing about this is not going to work on like the stretch plays. This is strictly for stopping the HB dive. So if your opponent has run this earlier on you in the game in a short yardage situation and you know that he's probably going to run it again, most of the time they will if that's one of their go-to plays in a short yardage situation and he's running the HB dive, you know he's going to run it. Just make sure you call this at the snap so that you can be ready to shoot the gap. Because most of the time against a real opponent, you will be stopping the run. So let me just show you. Let me take control of the offense and show you how somebody who might be just regularly running this because the computer just keeps making these ridiculous cuts. Let's try one more time. I think the computer's. All right. So let me just try to cut it back to the middle. You can see right there, I get stopped right there. Right, because that linebacker's coming straight through. Here, I'm going to cut it through the middle again. And every time, that guy should come through. I mean, there's sometimes when he'll take a bad angle or something like that. But the way the blocking sets up is because this, I think the left guard over here, he ends up blocking this guy out of the way. One of these guys, 67, I think. Yeah, 67. So he actually ends up opening up the hole for your linebacker to come straight through. So in any situation, if your opponent saw that linebacker coming through, he's probably going to either bounce it to the right, and that's why you need to come through that gap on the right side, right? Because your opponent will see that guy coming through, maybe try to bounce it out, and that's why in this particular setup, you want to be ready to shoot that gap on the other side. But again, there the linebacker ends up getting picked up. And sometimes that'll happen. But most of the time, I would say 80% of the time, this linebacker, if you put him in that position right there, he's going to come right through and blow that run up right there in the backfield. So that's going to do it for this segment of Stop This Play. Stay tuned for the next video where we'll be again focusing on the stopping the HB dive out of the Singleback Jumbo. Now this particular play is a little bit finicky when you're trying to shoot through that right gap, but you should have success if your opponent is just trying to run up the middle or trying to like kind of bounce it to the left a little bit. That linebacker should come shooting through pretty much 80% of the time. So it's a really good play to call, but the problem with it is that if it's not the HB dive, it's like a stretch or maybe even the 0-1 trap, it doesn't really work on those. So it's just for the HB dive. So you got to pay attention to which play your opponent is calling. But until next time, the Anti Madden is out. Peace.